Hello and welcome. Hi, I'm author Grace Wroldson. This is tips for dealing with a narcissist. I'm an author and strategy coach. I'm a mother, survivor, thriver, certified life coach, and award-winning author of several self-help books for women who love alcoholics and mothers forced to co-parent with a narcissist. They're available on Amazon. I always say if you are ready to learn, I am ready to teach. I help motivated mothers who are forced to co-parent with a narcissist maintain their sanity, save their custody cases, and enjoy their children's one and only childhood. I'm an author that offers my tips, tools, strategies, success, and stories for you to glean wisdom from, reflect on, and learn from. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer, but a momster thriver, and the only legal advice I give is to get legal advice. My words of wisdom, tips, and insights are based on my thoughts, experiences, and opinions. My books, videos, webinars are not a proper tool for any needed therapy. I'm not a mental health professional, so if you need specific therapeutic support, please call your local support agencies or get a licensed professional to help you that is safe and confidential. Better yet, get a narcissist recovery expert to deal with this situation with the narcissist. I write for moms who are forced to co-parent with narcissists stuck in high conflict custody battles. If this is you, you are not alone. My books can validate what you may be experiencing and give you creative ways to improve your co-parenting conditions. I include all my tips, tools, and strategies for moms to grab onto in my books, and I aim to be a light in the darkness of this dilemma. There are healthy mindsets to adopt. There's mindsets and attitudes to make solid, sanity to hold on to, as well as beneficial perspectives that we can take that can really help us endure this dilemma and survive a custody battle. There are resources out there that help us that you may not know about, which is why I have a lot of other videos with special guests. Learn all you can because knowledge is power. Be prepared with what I call survivor wisdom. And my goal is to leave you with tidbits of this wisdom and lots of encouragement. Know that you can endure this and be resilient. Believe in yourself. And remember to learn the valuable lessons in all of this and come out smarter and stronger than before. I always suggest that moms read my book series in the order I wrote them for full understanding. So the first one for moms is this orange-yellow co-parenting with a narcissist. 7 self-rules to stay sane. There is a bonus rule, and that's about staging a comeback. And the second book follow-up is How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court and Win. We don't want to fight, but often a fight is required of us. Here's my books in order from 1, 2, 3, and 4. I want you to read and heal and learn and grow from this. You don't just have to go through this, you can grow through this. And I encourage you to learn my newest skillful means and methods and gray walling techniques in my brand new book, How to Survive a Custody Battle with a Narcissist when the family courts force you to co-parent. So welcome to my work. If you're new, I wrote a blog of my 25 best tips for dealing with a narcissist if they are your co-parent. And this is my website. You can pop over to my website and click on my blog and find all of them under co-parenting. I do push that we have a goal and a focus of creating peace. And that's why I have a skillful means method and approach to this so that we can have peace, our children can have peace, and we can be free. So this is the 25 best tips blog. It is free, and I hope this helps you. A lot of my blogs are free. Some of them have a small fee to read more or watch the video. And as you know, narcissists make terrible co-parents. Narcissists are manipulative and highly skilled at deception. Very often when narcissists are backed into a corner of truth or feel threatened, they can be downright nasty. They have many tricks, tactics, and traps to victimize and re-victimize moms with narcissistic abuse even after separation. Because of this unfortunate dynamic, we as moms must acquire the understandings, skills, and strategies to deal with these individuals as seamlessly as possible. Plus, we need to stay sane for the sake of ourselves, our children, and our custody case. However, remaining level headed while dealing with a narcissist's insanity is no easy feat. To cope with the situation rationally, we need to plan, put a plan in place to help other moms endure this experience and preserve the hope to overcome it. I offer these tips, tools, and strategies in my books and blogs. I write specifically for mothers who are struggling to co-parent with a narcissist and suffering what I call co-parenting abuse, which is really a continuation of narcissistic abuse known as post-separation abuse. Bottom line is that narcissists can still abuse us while we try to co-parent with them. In fact, the narcissist will use their continued access to us as an opportunity to exert their abusive tactics whenever possible. We can change the dynamic with a narcissistic co-parent. On this blog, I share my story of how I learned, healed, changed, and grew. Eventually, using what I call skillful means, I was able to stop being the narcissist, target a blame, the TOB for short, stand up to him with an effective lawyer, which took some legal consultations and interviewing, and end the narcissist game, all because he no longer viewed me as his number one enemy or target. If you want that for yourself, keep listening and keep watching. Through self-work and reflection, I outgrew many of the problems we had. My growth changed how we co-parented, which resembled more like parallel parenting with a dash of cooperation. For a while before it got better and I stopped being the narcissist target of blame. I devised a buffer and learned how to gray wall, which is a bit more involved than the popular gray rock method of being as boring as a gray rock on the ground. The gray rock method refers to ignoring a narcissist and offering them nothing interesting about ourselves to think about. I learned to detach and shield from what I call boundary backlash when setting dozens of new boundaries using legal representation, which ultimately empowered me and protected my custody case. Now my mission is to help fellow moms by telling my story and empowering them to rewrite their own. I work to raise awareness, offer my self-help solutions backed by experience, and encourage them to establish a firm system of support. Can't stress getting support enough. We can't just document everything and become so overwhelmed that we can't be good, present, protective, and loving moms to our children. Instead, we need to be strategic to avoid becoming overwhelmed. We can't just take on any lawyer for family court, just as we can't hang on to a lawyer who is not effective and expect the judge to rule in our favor and understand what's really happening. We can't just have a simple agreement or court order with a disordered, unruly narcissist. To prevent issues, we need a comprehensive plan because there will be plenty of problems with a narcissist. We can't expect normal behavior from an abnormal, personality disordered person. If we are co-parenting with a narcissist, we can most likely expect a plethora of problems. It's the unfortunate nature of the narcissist game. They simply don't possess the skills to behave otherwise. And unfortunately, narcissists really make an effort to change. Learn the lessons as you try to co-parent with a narcissist and endure a custody battle. What are you learning about your case? What are you learning about narcissists? I learned a lot over my decade-long high-conflict custody battle with a narcissist. I encourage you to learn through reading and watching videos to avoid some of the mistakes I made, especially mistakes in having certain expectations. I never imagined my narcissistic ex would become as big of a problem as he was. However, after using skillful means, I also never imagined I could reach a level of peaceful co-parenting that we now have after developing a reliable support system, getting better legal representation, and changing myself. I outgrew many of the problems that I had with the narcissist by learning from the experts in narcissism and my crisis support people who were experienced in dealing with abusers and narcissists. The narcissist also lost interest in abusing me when I used skills to neutralize his hatred of me. And this is my disclaimer. These are my helpful tips based only on my thoughts and opinions, and I'm not a qualified mental health professional nor a crisis worker. I can't give legal advice or appropriate counsel, not liable for any injury or harm. So please follow your advice of your doctor, therapist, counselor, lawyer, coupled with your own common sense and intuition based on your unique case to see if these tips may be helpful for you. This is only one mom's survival story. These cases are complex and full of details and history that must be considered on an individual basis, and not all these tips may apply to your circumstance or your case. Best practices for dealing with a narcissistic, problematic co-parent. Here are some of my best general basic for dealing with a narcissist when forced to co-parent with one. Number 1, get support. I didn't survive narcissistic abuse without serious and significant help. I had a domestic violence DV counselor for establishing and maintaining boundaries, dealing with co-parenting abuse, and understanding coercive control, all while wrestling with my cognitive dissonance from the trauma bonds and the narcissist gaslighting. I was called many demeaning names by the narcissist and mother blamed for so many things that I was upset way too much of the time, which was his tactic. He was a pro at triggering me with false allegations and making me upset. I had to use many free 12-step programs like CODA, Codependence Anonymous, with meetings and sponsors to step into my strength and regain my sanity. I even used several YouTube channels to learn from experts on narcissism. Seek, find, and obtain the right specific support, and you too can endure and overcome the abuse. Create a support structure for yourself that you can lean on. Read in my first book, How I Made a Team of 10 in Co-Parenting with a Narcissist, 7 Self-Rules to Stay Sane, available on Amazon. Number 2. Here are some suggested types of support to establish. Venting support. Only vent to a safe, trusted, confidential person like a qualified therapist, not to friends and family all the time, as they are not necessarily qualified to provide the level of support you may need, and certainly not other parents at the bus stop. Be careful of this. It's very tempting and it can backfire. Gossip and rumors can spread like wildfire. Get legal strategy support. Seek a competent family law attorney, even regular paid or free phone consultations. Look for free legal aid. Protection, boundaries, and healing supports. Sources include a DV, domestic violence counselor, a safe plan advocate, or a trained crisis caseworker. Healing program and recovery support. Any 12-step recovery program like CODA, Al-Anon can help you learn about yourself, heal, fix weaknesses, learn, and become stronger. See the back of my books for the programs that I recommend for narcissistic abuse. Coaching support. Coaching can help you get organized, plan how to use your lawyer, and document the narcissist. Emotional support. Learn to lean into on your recovery and develop friendships in your recovery programs. Find friends with like minds who have survived similar experiences. This can give you strength. Educational support. Educate yourself on the dynamics of narcissism, the tactics they use, and what narcissistic abuse syndrome is. Refer to books, videos, websites, and YouTube channels that are led by experts on narcissism and narcissistic abuse to understand the dynamics at play. And financial support, using a money coach or budgeting person to find resources, even gaining access to assistance programs for self-care and self-protection can help you save money in the long run, especially as you go through a legal battle with a narcissist. Those are some ideas under number 1, get the support. Here's number 2. Get a lawyer or legal consultations, even free ones where you ask your burning legal questions. We have to get our legal questions answered by lawyers. Start learning about strategy and how to articulate what strategy you decide to use. You will need to make plans with supportive, empowering people who can back you emotionally. Do you have a documentation strategy? What does the lawyer say to document in your case? Do you have a legal recourse strategy? Do you have strategies other than ignoring the narcissist? FYI, you will need a defensive and offensive strategy in place when dealing with a narcissist. Defending yourself and preparing for upcoming attacks can quickly become exhausting and a serious source of stress. Do you have a strategy to turn the narcissist's target of blame off of you? If you are wise, you can prepare your legal questions and maximize free consultations with top family law lawyers who can answer your questions and provide legal advice even if you can't afford a lawyer. You can also interview 2 or 4 attorneys and explain your financial position, asking for pro bono work or other help behind the scenes in just phone calls, or take out a loan and hire that attorney for just the trial date. The fact is, paperwork can make or break a custody case, so I highly recommend that you obtain solid, competent representation. Read and use my Get the Right Lawyer Guide, which has a 20-question interview worksheet for moms to use when preparing to do legal consultations with potential attorneys. Number 3, be careful on social media or leave it alone. Be sure to safeguard your custody case by limiting social media use and protecting your information from narcissists. If the narcissist can read about how they ruined your day and elicited reaction from you, it can fuel them to do further harm. It's not only the narcissist, but their minions and flying monkeys and other people they've manipulated to side with them who can complicate matters further. These are people you may know and have a relationship with who have been asked to watch your social media platforms and report back to the narcissist. Many moms delete accounts or use private, newly created accounts to protect their anonymity in all things custody and children, including me. Don't air what's happening in the comments either, as comments are searchable when you become a member of any Facebook group. Reading what your plans are in comments can give the narcissist an upper hand in how to hurt you or make it more of a hell. Guard your emotions, safeguard your custody case, be private, and find these supportive people so that you don't run to social media for crisis support. Having a DV counselor to call can help you regain level-headedness after a vent session so you can use logic and common sense rather than emotions when making decisions. Number 4, adopt self-rules. A good rule of thumb when co-parenting with a narcissist and those problems arise is don't engage the narcissist when he's abusive. We can set up what I call self-rules, like I don't engage unless it's directly for the kids, and I don't respond with emotion, only logic or facts. We can remember that if an interaction is not court-ordered or about the child, we might not have to respond. We don't have to respond to every message unless our court order says otherwise. Sometimes it's best to give no reaction or emotion rather just document he's off topic again and make a list with dates and details of non-child related messages to show a pattern of misuse. We don't have to plead our case with every interaction to a narcissist. If possible, if ordered, we can use only a parenting app the courts generally assign, or the one you're ordered to use, to keep the conversation about the child only. If we have to converse, we can keep conversations transactional and use the popular gray lock method or my gray walling method to be businesslike and boring as a strategy to minimize interactions and conflict. When we aren't battling the disrespect, insincerity, and angry attacks of the narcissist, we can thrive and be better moms to our children. Setting up self-rules helps eliminate some of the stress, move from reactionary to responsive. One of my rules is I save it for therapy when he does something that's truly awful and sets me off emotionally. I found that it's completely normal to react to abnormal people and threats to my child. Number 5, start accumulating leverage and figuring out what matters to the narcissist. We all have our weak spots and things we don't want to lose. For the narcissist, it's his narcissistic supply. This can come in different forms depending on the narcissist, like money, assets, houses, property, image, social standing, jobs, etc. For us, it's usually our children and our time with our child. Know what matters to the narcissist, they know what matters to us, and list the leverage to or keep track of what you need to so your lawyer can use it in negotiations, hearings, four-ways, pretrials, and trials. Number 6, carefully respond, not react, when co-parenting with a narcissist. It's wise to draft your replies and run them by your support people, therapist, strategy coach, lawyer before sending them. Taking this extra step can help ensure that you don't overshare, justify, explain, or defend, but rather state the facts. If your lawyer advises you to, it may be wise to refute any false allegations with simple statements such as, "That's not true." I often had to take 3 full days to reflect and cool off before replying to the narcissist's attacks, mother blaming, and nonsense. But if your court order says that you need a 24-hour reply, follow your court order or your lawyer's recommendations. Each case is different and unique. You may want to draft a few general responses so that they are your safe go-tos and you are ready ahead of time. Number 7, document strategically. What do you think is most important? Having a documentation plan to show a pattern of behavior with numbered lists, complete dates, times, and details. We can learn to label the tactics of the narcissist. When you can name it, it reduces its power to confuse and destabilize you. You can use my co-parenting abuse list blog to be able to identify what you're suffering through. Ask your lawyer what you need to document and show the courts that will matter in your case. You can start documenting behavior patterns and categories and be able to sort out some of the confusing craziness. Put the narcissist in their box, so to speak, then move on with your day. Be able to shift gears and avoid dead ends to your day. Number 8, use a co-parenting app. If possible, get your court-ordered co-parenting communication off your personal phone and email and into an app where a third party could read the back and forths and monitor interactions. This step can help avoid headaches and give you an advantage in court. Ask your lawyer if you can begin using this to get familiar with it and which app your judge prefers to order. Then ask if your lawyer can invite the other parent officially so that you can start updating the calendar and inputting information. Sometimes being proactive and appearing as if we're trying to be the better co-parent or improve the co-parenting conditions can show a judge that we are the reasonable, non-high conflict parent. Personally, I use the app even if he doesn't, and it safeguards against PA, parental alienation claims that narcissists typically and falsely accuse mothers of doing. Number 8, anticipate the narcissist's bad behavior and non-compliance with the court order. Don't expect the narcissist to do what a nice dad would do to help you out or help the kids out. Be a few steps ahead with your planning to not have to rely on the narcissist to make it work or to be on time for work or some important event. Accept that he is a high conflict personality and will be difficult when he wants to be and or feels the need to assume power. Watch out for what you rely on the narcissist for because it sets you up to be late to work and other appointments. Be smart and plan around the narcissist. We can also document any contempt that the narcissist is in and bring these to our attorney who may want to file a motion and hold the narcissist accountable. See my legal strategies blog. Number 9, remember that you're a good mom. Don't let any of the narcissist criticism get to you. The narcissist may try to attack how you parent, but that's one of their ways to elicit an emotional reaction out of you. The narcissist uses emotions as a tool to control the situation and place you in a vulnerable state, but this does not mean their allegations carry any truth. Learn to pause, process, and respond using legal guidance. Often we keep our custody cases safe when we stop reacting emotionally. Having the right support people selected and installed in your situation can keep you from stewing and prevent the narcissist tactics from festering in your mind. It can be very validating to have someone tell you that you're doing a good job in a tough situation. We can give ourselves approval on a daily basis. We don't need the narcissist's approval at all. We don't ever need the narcissist to tell us what to do. And just know their approval would not be genuine anyway. Their insincere praise would just be another control tactic. Number 10, remember the narcissist's behavior is only a reflection of their own problems and weaknesses. We are not responsible for the narcissist. We're not responsible for their personal issues or how they conduct themselves. We have to detach fully from their drama. Narcissism is a personality disorder, which means there will be disorder. Narcissists struggle with being truthful and staying out of trouble, unless they can see a personal gain for themselves. They are typically high conflict people who sabotage others and themselves in the process, but they can't see around corners. They have many blind spots and they don't often think long term. Even if they look like they're doing well, they aren't. There are many good reasons why we choose to leave the relationship, and we chose to leave the relationship with a narcissist. Let all their awful behavior remind you that your choice that you made to end that relationship and break free was the right one. 11. Get specific therapy. Find healing programs specific for narcissistic abuse. Try them, do them, prioritize your healing. Look for knowledgeable DV counselors who understand abusers and their tactics. Move from victimhood to victory. Shift from survivor to smart thriver. I believe that our healing directly affects our children for the better. Do the healing programs. Pour your energy into you, yourself, your healing, and your child or children. Number 12, self-protect. If the narcissist is abusive, it may be wise to not make eye contact with them or respond to them directly. If you have to transfer children, do all communication in writing. If they become abusive or erratic, record and document their behavior. We can practice self-preservation and make a plan to deal with them. Learn how to start using neutralizing statements. If direct verbal communication is needed at all, get the restraining orders or protection orders needed. There were times that I had to be brave and get a no trespassing order to send a clear message of strength and boundaries. Number 13, make boundaries. We need to establish boundaries, buffers, and firewalls for ourselves and our children against narcissistic abuse. It's not typically effective to tell a person who disrespects others to respect our boundaries. It only sets us up for disappointment. Instead, we need to set boundaries with ourselves by determining what we will say, not say, do, and not do. This situation will call for many firmly set self-rules, boundaries, and legal stances. Write down the boundaries that you need to make in your case. Number 14, don't believe a word the narcissist says. Always fact check them. Narcissists lie. Narcissists tell half-truths. Narcissists twist facts and spin stories to lead people astray as a tactic. As a result, we must have zero expectations from them. Rather, we must always be ready to switch our plans if they're supposed to have our child for the day, weekend, or week. Not believing them because we know they're flawed, faulty, and disordered is certainly frustrating, but it will help us in the long run if they're a no-show for their scheduled parenting time. 15, don't rely on the narcissist for monetary help. Even if you have child support established by the courts, always be sure you can provide for what your child needs. Find and utilize assistance programs and let go of any pride you have. If the narcissist comes up with any money towards the child, then you can just use that money towards the next thing your child will need. It's better not to rely on an unreliable person. It's not wise to depend on a narcissist's money or support because it is their supply and they are selfish and unsympathetic non-givers by nature. Also, there is always a chance for the narcissist to use their generosity against you during a future attempt to gain and regain control. Number 16, stop emotional outpouring and over-explaining. Feeding the narcissist our fear is dangerous. Sharing our weaknesses or problems with them can lead us into trouble because the narcissist will often use this information against us. I give no intel, info, or details because it gave him ammunition. Also, I learned to show no emotion around him. I don't react to the narcissist drama because that is the fuel that drives them. If we starve them of our attention, they usually will go elsewhere to stir up trouble and leave us alone. At first, when he was overly abusive in person, I didn't acknowledge the narcissist or create a boundary for myself unless it was absolutely necessary to acknowledge him. I learned to avoid further narcissistic abuse by keeping my answers very short and to the point. I learned to only answer questions that pertain to our child. I initiated self-awareness and self-discipline to not let it go past that. If necessary and if possible, you may want to get a court-ordered no-contact order using a capable attorney. Some abusers are just not able to control themselves. So keep in mind, this is why we have jails. Number 17, get better at planned, controlled communication. Learn and develop skills. Read how I use skillful means. If communication is constant and offensive, try implementing as little communication as possible. If you're frustrated with the narcissist, document the reasons that led to your frustration. It's not wise to attempt to make them co-parent. Often it's smarter to just respond with okay to whatever the conversation is, but be sure you're not saying okay to something you're not okay with. There is generally little productive communication with a narcissist, no matter how simple you think the topic is. Watch my communication video and read my blogs on how I survived communicating with a narcissist when I was a target of blame before I hired a competent lawyer who took an offensive approach to my custody case, not just a defensive approach. Keep communication simple because they tend to thrive in the complex nightmare of word battles, word salad, and circular conversations. Number 18, prioritize your child, even if, especially if, the narcissist doesn't. If you haven't experienced this yet, have this heads up. There will be a lot of unfairness and injustice when dealing with an unfair person, period. So, I created guiding principles of putting our child's needs above my want for fairness in a co-parenting situation with a disordered personality, such as the narcissist. I always put our child first, even if it wasn't fair to me. I still do this. I trust that one day she'll see the sacrifices I made because I love her more than I resent the narcissist. This is something he's too selfish to do. We can be the better parent, take the high road, and set a good example. We can also be the change we'd like to see and create peace. Number 19, learn how to ignore some things the narcissist does and doesn't do. Ignoring was a key coping skill that I needed to implement because I always wanted to take action and fix, save, rescue, and this made me hypervigilant, overreactive, and on guard. I was in a heightened state of mental emergency that led to burnout and serious stress. So, where it's smart to do so, learn to ignore. You can document instead of addressing things, but check with your lawyer if you are unsure what should be addressed. It may be wise to start ignoring anything the narcissist says unless it's of the utmost importance for your child's welfare. Ignoring can help us regulate our emotions. Remember, don't let your emotions show to the narcissist. My DV counselor helped me learn to compartmentalize my life so that I wasn't always battling the narcissist, but had a life outside of family court. We don't have to get sucked into the narcissist's need and love of drama. Generally, we do not respond unless a question is asked about the child. If we have to respond, we can train ourselves to keep it short and polite. This is strategically setting some self-rules and self-boundaries. We work with our weaknesses and set up some strengths. 20. Make sure you're taking notes here. Learn, educate yourself on narcissists and how to handle them. Knowledge is power. I read several books on boundaries and co-parenting with a narcissist. I watched hundreds of YouTube videos on dealing with a narcissist. An education helps and assures us that we have the ability to learn, heal, change, and outgrow our problems of the past. This is us stepping into our competence and abilities. They, unfortunately, are typically doomed to repeat their toxic self with the next person and the next, what I would call, unsuspecting victim. Number 21, don't defend. It's not always a good idea to defend ourselves against the narcissist's lies and accusations, no matter how outlandish they may be. It puts us on the defense and our energy gets consumed. Rather, document the false allegations and keep track while simply saying that's not true. Learn about the broken record technique. It's a communication skill that drains the narcissist and helps us preserve our energy. Defending is being part of a fight. Don't fight to get them to see the harm they do and that you're a good mom. Quite often they know. They just don't care. Whenever you think they can't go lower, they often will. So, also, don't underestimate them. If invited to a word fight, you can decline. Don't participate in their shenanigans. We do not have to engage in debates. We don't have to take the bait if the narcissist is actively trying to lure us in to get the supply they want. Even negative attention can be fun for a narcissist. And watching us unravel, we can be aware and not fall for it. Number 22, develop a strong sense of self and keep it. When we know who we are less likely to be thrown off, manipulated, or upset about what the narcissist says about us. Our support people can help us establish this. We can maintain ourselves to prepare for whatever the narcissist may throw our way. Number 23, be consistent. Establishing a regular routine not only helps our children, but also helps us stay organized. Find a way to keep this simple too. When we can organize their disorder, we have an upper hand. And I say the key is organization. Number 24, don't have reasonable expectations for an unreasonable person. A conversation may not stay civil. The narcissist probably won't follow the court orders to a T like we will. They probably won't pay child support or pick up the child on time. They most likely won't stay child-focused and think about the child's best interest, only theirs. We can watch out for expectations and refrain from expecting anything. We can have the self-rule of not relying on them for anything and not divulging any personal information. If I'm repeating this, remember, repetition is the key to learning, and it's important. We don't have to take any bait. This tip can help us keep our emotions calm. Number 25, live your life. We have earned our freedom and can grant ourselves happiness. We can ensure that our house, apartment, living space reflects that. We can turn our focus onto our relationship with our child and away from the narcissist. We can show our children that we will always be in their corner and not continuously distracted and distraught by their dad. Control the crazy communication with the narcissistic co-parent using self-control. It's no secret that for protective moms, we can lose sleep and custody battles when communication goes awry and we get dragged under by the narcissist. Some moms only have communication through a court's admissible app and block the narcissist on everything else. I chose to leave text message open for emergencies, but I had a lot of boundaries with this. Many have a parenting plan that says to use the app to keep communication civil and strictly about the child or children. If you begin complaining about multiple bad messages from a narcissist, you may be able to show them in court, as the app doesn't let you delete messages. Sometimes the app doesn't make anything easier, but it can help in court. In some cases, third parties can log in and read the messaging if assigned by the courts. Moms who catch on to the ongoing tug-of-war dynamic don't reactively engage, but rather proceed with indifference. Some moms set a self-rule of only responding if there's a question mark. They use only written forms of communication like text and email for proof of conversation should the narcissist deny being informed. They don't talk on the phone or in person. I can't tell you how many times he called that I didn't pick up. All of them. Moms like me keep conversations business-like and non-personal. After dealing with a narcissist, they have someone they trust to vent to. I call this bookending a conversation. Many times I had to prepare with someone like a narcissistic abuse coach and then deal with the aftermath and the boundary backlash with my DV counselor. It took the narcissist a while to adjust to the changed version of me. I no longer was a pushover, doormat, or people pleaser. The solid legal representation helped empower me. Learn about narcissists so that you don't have high or unrealistic expectations. There's books and many free videos by expert psychologists. I recommend a few in the back of my books. Learn how to communicate with high conflict people who are everywhere in the world, unfortunately. Finally, please know that you're not alone. My mission is to help support loving, caring, motivated mothers who are forced to co-parent with a narcissist. I say co-parent because that's what the courts want to hear, even though most of us know parallel parenting is often all we can do with such a disordered person. We must maintain our sanity, save our custody cases, and enjoy our children's one and only childhood. Through teaching my skillful means and navigating the narcissist, sharing my story, I hope to validate what you may be experiencing and give you effective tips, tools, and strategies that I use that maybe you can use. I aim to offer you this wisdom and hope that you can improve a bad co-parenting situation, and even more so, come out smarter and stronger and wiser than before. You don't just have to go through it, you can grow through this. So begin reading some of my helpful books that I will share here in this. So I start everyone with co-parenting with a narcissist, 7 stealth rules to stay sane, of when I lost a bunch and then had to go back, win a bunch, and then I had to survive him. Then this is my newest book about planning and strategy and preparation and mindsets, and how to have an offensive, not just a defensive strategy, and how to have strategies with coaches, not just use the lawyer, and how to not use the lawyer as a therapist, but have those support people for the emotional support and use the lawyer just for the legal stuff to not burn out a lawyer. I also have how to communicate with the narcissist, some simple tips and tools to keep in mind in this book. I have in my blog 25 key phrases that can neutralize the narcissist. This is how I went from the target of blame to just another person in a court battle like he is, and not the opposing enemy. I have the skillful means of how I planted the seed in his mind that it could be better. And the narcissist bought these, but it took a year for them to grow. So I had to learn to say certain things and take a certain angle with the narcissist who felt threatened. I have 5 factors that can make the narcissist stop. These helped in my case. It took a while for me to implement, figure them out. They might not work in your case, but they might help. So it's up to you to see what you can implement, what you feel safe for you, and always check with your DV counselor and your lawyer. This is my Get the Right Lawyer Guide. It's a PDF. You get a whole worksheet, 20 questions, prepare, read that, write things in so that you can simplify these attorney consultations and maybe even get your legal questions answered right in that free consultation. These are some legal strategies, how I didn't use legal, how we delayed things, the zigzag method, the chip away at it method. These are all legal strategies I had to use, and be ready to change strategies because you don't know which way it'll go. It can depend on GALs, the narcissist, your health, judges switching, laws, all kinds of things can come up. This is my Navigate the Narcissist co-parenting video course, and the narcissist has all these tricks and tactics and traps and manipulations, and we need to have strategy, skills, and self-restraint with self-rules. We can learn, adapt, navigate the narcissist, and the key word is to navigate around and neutralize the narcissist. You can get that program with the link in the video below so that you can learn and heal and grow through this. Never be a victim of a narcissist again. Learn to steer right away from them. And remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If this video was helpful, hit the thumbs up button. If you want more free videos, please subscribe. You can hit that subscribe bell to be notified. Now, this is one of my popular groups. It's larger now, but it's about being in community with others and getting little tidbits of posts weekly to remind you of what really matters to keep you on track so that you are more child focused in living your life. There's some valuable survivor wisdom in my group. Jump over to my website if you want more, to learn more about me, if you want to contact me to do one-on-one sessions. I do limited one-on-one strategy calls and give you usually resources that I know about and to-do lists so that you can get organized. But I'm a certified life coach, not a lawyer, to do these, but I help moms figure out how to use their lawyer, how to contact their lawyer. Organization is the key. So I hope you've enjoyed my best tips. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my groups.